I'm your host, Reena Friedman Watts, and this is the Better Call Daddy Show.
Hey, this is Big Daddy, Wayne Friedman.
That's my grandpa. Grandpa, you ready for more daddy drama?
My dad is my number one hero and number one fan.
And I'm a pretty cool dude.
All right, season 4, baby. Here we go.
More stories you're not going to believe.
And maybe you will after you listen.
5 stars.
5.5 stars, 2 thumbs up.
You are a pretty cool dude.
I love you, Mommy.
Don't stand on the table and damn the public. You'll get some words of wisdom to live by.
Here we go again. Better call Daddy.
You know what your problem is? You like me.
Yeah, I do. Each week, I interview a guest, share the stories with my dad, and then he weighs in at the end of every episode with his wisdom and wit.
Hey, Grandpa.
Everyone from influential players to inspirational fathers, and of course, controversial people.
Grandpa, my mommy's calling.
Creating that legacy one call at a time. And welcome to the Better Call Daddy Show.
Stay tuned.
Where's the music?
Better call Daddy 'cause he knows you best. Better call Daddy 'cause he's bringing the zest. He sees possibilities. Such possibilities. Better call Daddy, he'll be by your side. Better call Daddy, you're the apple of his eye. He sees all that you can be. All that you can be.
Today's guest, Dr. Angela Sturm, saw imperfections in herself. Not only did she fix herself, but she can fix you. Today, we're talking about rhinoplasty with Dr. Angela Sturm. Talk to me about being born with your father's nose on your face.
It's something common I see from other people, and so I can relate that you have a little bump, it's a little crooked, the tip's a little wide, and that sort of thing. And he thought it was totally fine. He thought it was perfectly fine, but I wasn't as happy with it. It looked great on him, but not so much on me. So at the end of my fellowship, I watched the guy make noses all year long. And so I was like, me too. I want to get mine done too. So we agree, okay, he'll do it. And I didn't even think he would be nervous because he does this all the time. Like, no big deal. And he comes in, he's like shuffling his papers. You're okay? Are you sure you're okay? And I was like, oh my gosh, he's nervous. So I get it done and I'm really happy and I'm excited and I don't have a bump anymore and it's a little bit straighter. And when I go home and I'm like, Dad, what do you think? And he was like, about what? I said, my nose. I got it done. And he goes, it was fine before.
Aw.
Which that means he thinks you're fine the way that you are, which is great and wonderful. And I appreciate that. I was like, I think it looks good now. And he was like, it's fine either way. But it did. It looks fine on him, but not so much on a more petite girl.
That's funny.
So I relate to my patients that come in and say that, where I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. I understand. Yeah.
Has any of your patients come up to you and they're like, I have my dad's nose?
Oh, a lot. Well, majority, probably. A lot of the young girls where they're like, yeah, I got my dad's nose. And I want this change or that change or whatever. They want it smaller and more refined and more feminine. And I think that's all understandable. Have it balance and fit their face.
That's funny. Also, it is funny that your dad didn't notice after you got it done.
At all. No, he was... I still don't know that he really knew the difference because we think we're so aware of ourselves, like we were talking about before, of like aware of how we look and we assume everyone else is going to know. And then you realize people don't pay that much attention. You know, even people that are close to you, like the little things that are big deals to you, other people don't necessarily know.
It's like when you get your hair done. You've spent hours getting it done. You come home, you're like,
look at me. Yeah, and they're like, I don't know.
No one notices unless you cut like a lot off.
Or did a totally different color. Like the color, sometimes they'll get them, but the cut, yeah, maybe not.
That's funny. So how do you decide a look for a nose versus creating one that's useful?
So I do both. We always have to do both. And I tell people that the difference of going to someone that's ENT and then facial plastics is we're going to think about the function first and then the form and how making it beautiful. And so that's always part of it. And I always talk to people about how they're breathing, how do you feel like you have a hard time breathing or not? Or is that part of our plan? And always in it. It's to at least keep the breathing the same, if not improve it a little bit. And so even some people that say, oh, my breathing's fine afterwards are like, actually, that's better. I'm like, see, that's great. Because sometimes we don't know how bad it is because we've lived that way our whole life, which kind of was the case for mine. Is I knew it was bad, but I didn't know until afterwards that I was like, oh, I can smell things now. There's smells I like, smells I don't like that I thought I liked, and that so you always take that into consideration, that you want to make one that functions well, but then also fits their features, it fits who they are, what they want to look like, and looks better. Because everybody has a different idea of what a nice looking nose is. So I use computer imaging it's like Photoshop. So I'll take their picture and Photoshop it and then show it to them. Be like, okay, this is, after listening to you and what your concerns are, this is what I think would look really nice. And make sure to say, okay, do you like that? Or have options that, or it can be a little bit more scoopy here or a little bit straighter. And then let them decide what they like and what they think looks good. Yeah.
Are there generational differences of styles?
Yeah. Partly is preference, partly is surgical techniques have gotten better, and so we're able to do more nuanced kind of surgery. I think 80s is very cliche for that. You can tell someone had their nose done at that time, and I think our techniques weren't as good, and then also a smaller, more button nose was in style with everything else being small and skinny and all of that kind of stuff.
And the eyebrows, too.
And the eyebrows, all just gone, all of it gone. But now, like the people I see in particular, they want a natural nose. They want it to be straight. They want it to fit their features, but they want it to be natural. They don't want everybody to know. I think now it goes in one of two camps. Either you're the turkey nose, or they all have a very similar look, and there's some excellent surgeons in Turkey, some amazing. But when you scroll Instagram, this is what people see, and they think it's more of a Barbie nose. Or you're like, no, I want to be natural. I want to look like me. I want it to fit within my family, within my ethnicity. I want it to look this like me, just straighter or just no bump. So long answer to yes, like differences in the way that people are seeing plastic surgery. There's times, and you can tell what people are asking for, like times where people are wanting a little bit more dramatic. Whenever it seems to be a little bit more socially accepted, they want more dramatic. They're okay with that. Whereas just as a society, when we shift a little bit, and it's funny because we've had a little like micro shift back to not being as accepted, because it was super, super accepted for a while, and now it's not as much. So people are going a little bit more to the natural, which you can see in the comments on social media. Like you can see what people are saying. Some of the comments are ridiculous, but overall just.
That's interesting. Did you get any comments when you talked about yours, or did anybody have a hard time with it at all?
Not in person.
That's good.
And it was so long ago, like social media was just starting to be a thing. And so I'd put it out there, but it wasn't like it is now where everybody's on social media all the time. And so it wasn't, and it was different.
You got away with it.
I got away with it. Now nobody knows any different. So it's perfect. My sister is tall and blonde hair and tan. And so people will say, oh, at least your nose looks alike. And I was like, you did a good job then.
That's cute. I like that as a comeback. I'm also interested, are there differences with men versus women doing plastic surgery?
Men are more likely to do the surgery, do the big thing. They're going to do the one big thing. They're not coming back. Barely for their follow-ups. And so if they come in, they're like, I want to get a facelift and I'm done, or I want to get my nose done. We're more like, okay, I'll get this done, and then later I'll get this done. And I'm more likely to do like maintenance kind of things and a little tweak here and a little tweak there. Men are like, no, I'm not going to follow through with all those steps. Obviously, most men want more natural because they usually don't want anybody to know. There's a few that are like screaming from the rooftops, but men that I have are usually more, they don't want anybody to know, but they just want to look better. Whereas women will be a little bit more like dramatic with it. They want more of a change. And it's funny because whenever I first started doing this, there's like books and things like that. And there's like typical like male plastic surgery patient and female plastic surgery patient. And that's not really very accurate. They're like, men don't change their hairstyles, so they're not going to go for many changes in life. And I'm like, that's not true now. Maybe that was whenever everybody had the same like comb over since the 1950s or something, but it's not true now. Like, it's so much more accepted for guys to have different like facial hair and try out different hairstyles and different styles and be okay with that being part of their masculinity. Because I think that was part of the thing is if you change yourself that's always the thing is when people have an issue with it. Like, why are you changing yourself? What is it about yourself you don't like? And I had a male patient that told me something really good. He was like, I take care of my car. I change the oil. I wash it. I'm way more important than that car. I'm going to take care of it. If there's something I want to fix, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to maintain it. Because this is the most important thing. And I was like, I love that. And
I'm using that.
Use that forever.
Yeah, that's a great lead into, I would like to talk about some of the women that have come to you and maybe they would have gone through domestic violence or had a sports injury, or talk about how plastic surgery for them can really make a difference in how they feel and present themselves.
Some of those are the most touching patients. They come in because something has happened to them or a big change in their life. And some of these people that maybe have had domestic violence and they got their nose broken. And when they look in the mirror, every time they look in the mirror, that's what they see. And it's a reminder of the thing that happened. And it's amazing to be part of it and them to trust me with that, to be part of that, them taking control of it and saying, I'm going to do something about this, that I'm moving forward and I'm moving forward for me. When I look in the mirror, I'm going to see me. I'm going to see the things that I did for myself to be able to say, yes, that happened. And here's where I'm at now. Oh, so sometimes it's getting back to where you were. And sometimes it's being able to move forward, just depending on the person and what they're feeling and what they've gone through and the way that they're wanting to deal with that. And so ends up not being just surgery, but being able to like be there with them through that process, which sometimes can be emotional because if you've broken your nose and then right after surgery, your eyes are swollen and you can be bruised and then you see yourself similar to the trauma that happened, which is hard. And that may not be something someone has thought about beforehand. So being able to be there with them and hold their hand and be like, this is temporary and it's going to be better. And I always take pictures on table. And so I'm like, here's what it looked like on table. So you can know this is what it's going to look like. It'll be very similar to this. And so you have that hope where you're like, okay, this is temporary and that's what it's going to be like. And rewarding to be able to be in those parts of someone's life.
Wow. That sounds like you're helping them leave something behind.
Yeah.
And recreate themselves.
And in the way that they're wanting to be moving forward. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Do you feel like you were recreated at all by going through it yourself?
Maybe a little bit, I think, because I didn't have the trauma associated with it, but it was more like, it's okay if I do this for myself. And it's okay that I do this to feel more confident and like this part of myself. That I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it either. And it was funny because right afterwards, I was with my mom somewhere and we were talking to people and chatting it up. And she said, oh my gosh, we should have done this years ago because I could tell you feel so much better.
That's cool. Wow.
Oh.
For a parent to realize that even.
Yeah. And just see the difference that you're just not thinking about that thing that kind of bothers you. And I didn't even realize it bothered me that much until she said that and I thought about it.
That's cool. Yeah, talk a little bit about how your practice has changed since you first started, and you were pregnant at the time that you started, right?
When I started here, yeah. So from the very beginning, I was an employee with another physician, stayed there for a while, and then decided to start my own practice. And so already had baby number one, and then is in 2019, and I said, okay, so this is the right thing for me. I'm going to start my own practice. And then find out I'm pregnant with baby number two. And I was like, okay, that wasn't planned, but
lots going on.
Okay, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And so we start build out and everything's going well. And then 2020, so January, I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I was prepared for nothing, crickets. I was like mentally prepared for that. We had some patients and things were going well. I thought, okay, this is great. And I was subleasing space while this got built out. And my sublease was coming up. It came up at the end of March. And so I was debating, okay, do I just extend for another month or two until this is done? And then March 2020, everything shut down. And so I was like, I'm just not going to renew my sublease, which of course they understood. And luckily it was just me and I had one employee. So truthfully, if it was going to happen, that was like the ideal time because it wasn't built out. So I didn't have a lease yet. And I just had me and one person to worry about, make sure it's taken care of. And then as soon as they said medical providers that weren't like essential could go back, I was like, that's it, we're opening, we're done, you guys are done. And because we already had our permit and everything was like 90% done. And there were little things like the initials on the front that weren't done yet. And I was like, nobody will even know. They don't know the difference. It's fine, just open.
Wow.
And so it's been a lot of fun. Like we've been able to grow our med spa and bring some other doctors in that are here with us. And
Tell me about the med spa.
so we have all these fun things. So, the usual, like the Botox and fillers, but then we have a bunch of different lasers. I picked a bunch of different lasers that work for all different skin types and all year round because we're in Houston and it's summer, like 24/7. So things for brown spots, for the little blood vessels. We have everything from a mild little do it in lunchtime, the laser, all the way up to the CO2 2-week downtime. It's amazing, but you're hanging out at the house for 2 weeks.
What is that one?
That's the CO2. So I usually give someone at least IV sedation just because it's not fun to do, but afterwards it doesn't hurt at all. It takes off the top layer of skin. It's kind of like a medium to deeper peel.
Oh, like a chemical peel?
Same idea, but just using the laser. So it's all red and shiny, but like brown spots are gone and the lines are nearly gone. Nothing's 100%, like baby skin.
Have you done all of those?
I've not done the CO2. When it comes down to it, if I need it, I'll do it because it's amazing. And it doesn't hurt. It's just a little messy. But I've done all the other ones. I've done the Clear and Brilliant, which is more for like brown spots. And I've done we had the Fraxel, did the Fraxel, done the Morpheus. I love microneedling. That's
I've never done that either. Are people afraid of any of these things? What gets them to step over the threshold?
You baby step into it. Do the least scary one first. And then,
okay, which one is that?
It depends. I think the microneedling because
Really?
It's not a laser.
Okay.
And we put numbing on and you're numb. It feels like vibration. Like it doesn't hurt at all. The only place
Really?
is like on my nose. I don't like the way the vibration feels on your nose because it tickles. And the downtime's a day and a half or so. It's not bad at all. And then just makes your skin look smooth and glowy. And
do you have to stay out of the sun after that?
for a week, just wear a hat and sunscreen. Because after that day and a half where it's healed, then you're good. You can put like a tinted sunscreen on and you'll be fine.
And how often do people do those?
They're usually like a series. So you'll do 3, like 4 to 6 weeks apart. And then you can do 1 a year, something like that. Especially for people, like you have beautiful skin, but people that have hyperpigmentation will do 2 or 3 treatments at the end of the summer just because it's impossible to stay out of the sun here. Get them in a good place and then the little treatments at the end of the summer.
And then after you've baby stepped into the microneedling, what's the next tier?
I think the Clear and Brilliant, because then it's an actual laser, but it's a really gentle laser. And same thing, it's like maybe 2 days of downtime, but it helps with texture, it helps with pigment. It can just make your skin look like softer and brighter. It doesn't hurt at all. We put the numbing cream on and it feels like the little rollers rolling on there. And then we have the Halo, it's a combined non-ablative and ablative. So like a lower energy like the Clear and Brilliant. And then it's not the CO2, but it's a laser like that you can do at the same time. And that you can do in office, but it's a good week of like red and swollen downtime, but the results are that much more dramatic.
Yeah, how long do the results last?
Depends on how good you are about going in the sun and sort of thing.
Okay.
Like it's a permanent change in the skin, but if you go in the sun and don't wear sunscreen, the next year you'll probably want to come back. But if it's more dramatic like that, it's a couple of years, 2-3 years.
Oh, wow. That's pretty
Mm.
good. What's the most effective to get rid of like the fine lines?
The CO2 is most effective.
Okay.
It's the most downtime, though.
Okay.
Outside of that, I would probably do like the halo, a halo or even a Fraxel.
And who administers these?
So you met Art. He's our laser technician. He's my significant other. He's
cool.
great. And then he has trained other people. So we have other nurses that do it. Like all of them do it. I direct them and help them with settings and say, okay, we're going to do this or that. And then they're the ones that actually do it. So he used to work in ortho, and we've got him to lighten his touch and come to cosmetics. And he's really embraced it. He was shaving today and he goes, "Oh, I just have to shave my submental area and then I can come." And I was like, "What? You are fully immersed in in aesthetics that you called this your submental area instead of just your chin."
That's
Like, you're
cute.
so funny. Oh,
How did you guys meet?
so he has a nice elbow. So it was through a friend of a friend. Basically, when I was at the other practice, there was a girl that worked there, and she had a big group of friends, and they would hang out together a lot. And so they were all hanging out, and she said, "Yeah, you should come out." And I was at like a fundraiser or something, and then came out afterwards, and there were 3 guys standing in a row on like a railing, and they were all standing like this in a row, which I thought was funny. And I was picking on him, and I go, "Is this how y'all pick up girls? You like put your elbow out?" I'm like, "Ooh, look at the elbow on that guy. Ooh, is that how you catch them?" And I was making fun of him, and he thought it was funny. And so then we started talking.
That's so cute. I don't think I've ever heard that story before.
No, probably not.
Oh my God. So you're like, go home to the folks. You're like,
He has a nice elbow. I mean, what can I say?
that's cute. I love that story.
So,
What is
yeah.
it like working together and how do you balance that?
So this is the second time, the second try at this, because we worked together. It was during COVID when they had 2 kids, and it was just too busy and too hard because his job was super busy, and we couldn't go pick them up when they were sick or anything like that. And so we're like, okay, we have to make a change. And so he started working here, and it was growing pains. It was harder the first time because I think we didn't know like how to set boundaries with each other of what's home and work. And the second time, we was like, okay, I need you to come back. And he was ready to come back because he's very social and he loves to be around people and like he loves this stuff. So we're talking about it, and I was like, okay, you can't talk about work at home all the time. There's the boundary of I have to be able to be like, okay, this is enough for now. I can talk about this tomorrow or later, or just because he gets excited about things and he doesn't have. It's harder for me than him. He's fine. He could talk about it all the time. But I'm like, okay, I need you to shut it off. I need just home time. And so we're better about that now, of me being able to say, okay, I've had enough. Let's talk about this or that or the kids or whatever. And he knows it's not personal. It's just me saying, this is what I need. And he's okay, no problem. Whereas the first time, I guess I didn't recognize it enough. I was just like, you're driving me crazy. So go, okay, what is it that's driving me crazy? And how can I like communicate that more effectively to him? And at least it's good that he's receptive, that he's understanding we can talk about it. It's going better this time.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Communication is so important, not only, I would imagine, in your relationship, but also in growing a practice.
Yeah. Just amongst like the team members and then with patients too, because what we do was all elective. And so being able to hear what someone's saying and then hear what they're not saying too, which he's gotten good at that too. Because we'll talk about it of, okay, what do you think they really want? Or what are we, like you said, like what are people scared of? What are you afraid of? What are you wanting to achieve? But what's the roadblocks and how can
I
we
would
make you
imagine the
comfortable?
cost, because isn't it all cosmetic?
It's all cash. So
Yeah.
that's one.
Yeah.
Cost, downtime are the 2 big things. Is do I have the time to do this and do I have the money? And the good thing with a med spa is it's a whole range. And so you have all the way from a very smaller investment all the way up to a bigger investment of your time and your money and the results usually correspond with that.
With
you
the
know?
price.
Generally, yeah. But you can do multiple of the smaller end things in a time frame that works for you instead of having to go like all in, which is nice because it's a little bit different than whenever I started. Is there's more options of the lower end stuff, whereas back then it was like it's surgery or we have this one laser that might do you what you want, but it may not. So like the devices have advanced a lot.
How did you even decide which devices to bring in here?
It was based on like patient demand of what people were asking for and what they're looking for and trying to fit those needs. And we've traded around a couple of times, actually just saying, okay, this is what we have and this isn't quite fitting the need that the patients have, or it's to this or it's to that. Let's trade that and then get this, which is an expensive game.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine.
Because they're not cheap. I like it. I think it's very interesting. All the devices are interesting and all the treatments are interesting. And like I enjoy that, the technology part of it. Yeah.
Do any of your patients let you film them, or do you do like testimonials with any of them? How do you work that in?
Some of them do, and we love when they do because it's helpful. It's really helpful to see the treatment being done. Like, what does that look like? Does it look scary? Does it not look scary? And is that person talking through the treatment to where, you know that they're okay, if they're sitting there having a conversation, you're like, oh, okay, that's not that bad. But if you see some videos and they're like, you know,
They're out cold.
you're like, oh, maybe not that one. Oh. And like art has a really good touch. So even some of the treatments that like the Morpheus that people are more scared of because that can be a little bit more uncomfortable. Like he does something with the numbing that they're talking and laughing and I can hear them outside the door like laughing. And so those people, if we can get them to help share their story, it's helpful for other people. But we do some testimonials and try to get them as candid as possible because that's helpful for people of, okay, this was easy and this maybe wasn't as easy, but it was worth it. Help them make decisions.
Sorry, I needed to do that. Yeah, edit that part. But I'm also curious just like how you've built your brand, like from the beginning. Like when somebody starts their business, starts their practice, you don't have these testimonials, you don't have
Right.
word of mouth. Talk a little bit about presenting yourself and coming up with a marketing plan. What you've built here is very impressive.
Thank you. From the beginning, I was very like intentional about this is what I do and this is who I am and this is like I'm facial plastics. I do rhinoplasties, I do facelifts, we do some of the med spa things, and I wanted to make sure we always communicated that, whether it was social media, flyers when we did that,
Yeah.
websites, all of that stuff of whenever I have someone like develop something for me, like this is the feeling I want people to have. This is what I want to communicate to people. And so I've found people that are good at doing their jobs that I can help communicate that to them and then they can help me communicate it because that was something that was important to me is this is who I am and I want people to know this is who I am and like what I do and how I can help you. And there was one day someone was like, oh, do you know an ENT? And I was like, I guess I branded effectively because they don't even know that I'm an ENT. So I was like, it's been a while since I've done that. And here's some amazing people. I can give you their names. And there was a neurosurgeon when I first started and he said, just take care of people and the rest will happen. You can stress all day, but just take care of people. And that's been what I've tried to do is like focus on each person. If you were my sister, if you were my family member, how would I want someone to take care of you? And what advice would I give to you? And how would I help guide you through all these different treatments that are out there that you can do all the different things? And so that's been what I've tried to do. And then when hiring people, how to teach them and show them that it's important. That's how we think about it. If that was, and we say your favorite family member. If this is your favorite family member, like what would you tell them to do? Because you can sell someone a package or you can help them like achieve their goals, which is a whole different thing. And that's what we want to focus on. Because
How do you get people's goals out?
lots of talking of, okay, what bothers you? What about that bothers you? Or what do you want to achieve like short term and long term? And especially, it's definitely with the med spa, but especially like surgical. What are you what are you seeing whenever you
I
don't
want to get
look
rid
the
of those
same?
like little oil spots that you were talking about, the fine lines. And I think most women, they're like,
Yeah.
where did that freaking come from?
Oh, it's overnight. Because you look, it's in the car. You look in that mirror and you're like, this was not there yesterday.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
How can I
Yeah.
burn that off?
Yeah, I need this gone. Those are usually easy because you're like, yeah, I get it. And this is what's going to work for your skin type and what you have going on.
But I do what you said, like what bothers you
Yeah.
and how can we address that? So
Yeah.
that would be a goal. Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes I've heard people say, and I've had people do this to me where they're like, oh, they like analyze your face. And if you want me to, fine. But most people, that's not necessarily a conversation we have. I'm like, I actually like those lines. I'm fine with those lines. These not so much, these not so much. This is not my concern. And so I like to try to like really get to what is it that's bothering you and use the imaging and use like before and afters and say, this is what this can do. Is this kind of addressing? It's like I saw a girl for a rhinoplasty and she'd had jaw surgery. And so I was showing her the different pictures and she's like, you know what? It's my jaw. I can see looking at these different pictures. I thought it was this, but now looking at the picture, if you change that, does that change what's bothering me? And she's not really. That's actually not it. Like you said, get to what it is that's, because I might think I've hit the bullseye. That is the most beautiful nose I've ever seen. But if that's not what you wanted, I didn't hit the bullseye at all.
Yeah. That is one more question I'd like to ask. Should we take a break here or we're good? Yeah. What happens when they've done the Photoshop thing, they've gotten the pictures, they think this is what they want, and then it's not what they want? Or they're a little bit shocked with the results. Has that happened?
I've had where we all agreed this was the goal, and it was a guy that wanted a little bit more feminine nose, and we kind of talked him out of it. We were like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" Between the family and us, and then we got done. And as far as I felt, I hit the bullseye of this is what we agreed on, but he really still wanted a little bit more of a scoop, a little bit smaller nose. And so he was super wonderful and was like, okay, the healing process is a year. Let's go make sure everything's healed the way it's going to be. And then if we need to do something, then we take care of it. And so we got through the year, everything was nice and healed. And he was like, yeah, I really like this bullseye. And so then we took care of it. And we went back to surgery and did the surgery and got what he wanted, and he's really happy. So it can happen where this is truly what you wanted, or you think it's this. And as long as it's something that I can help with, like that's what I feel my role is, to try to get you to the place that we've both agreed would be like the happy place. So
Have people wanted like extreme makeovers?
sometimes I'm not the extreme makeover surgeon. I'm the you but better surgeon. And so I try to also figure that out of what your goals are. Are we trying to look like someone else, but are you trying to look like you? Oh. And if you do enough procedures all at the same time, you'll look different, but it should look like you, but different. And that's my aesthetic, and that's what I shoot for. And so if someone's going for a different person, I'm probably not the right person. And
Have you recommended people away?
Yeah, if I'm like, I'm just probably not going to be able to do what you want, because I'm going to be more on the conservative side, and I may not go for it the same way that you want someone to. And there's plenty of people that will, and if you need names, I can help you. But I just don't think I'm the right person, because it has to be a match. It has to be a fit of they trust me, I understand what they want, I feel comfortable, I can achieve that. If I feel like it's too over the top, I have a hard time being in the OR going, looks great.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing for me, because I want to be in there and go, oh yeah, that's pretty. I like it. We're good. Looks like the picture.
That's funny. That reminds me of dating, where people like send you a picture from 5 years ago and go, that's not the same person.
No. You're like, oh, this was before surgery.
Oh my gosh. But you did mention something there about that the family could be involved. I am interested. Do they usually bring a spouse? I think you even told me that sometimes people have these things done without even asking their spouse.
Sometimes, yeah. That is not the most common thing, though. Usually the spouse is there, and it's so cute when they're there and they're supportive and they're like, "You're beautiful, but whatever you want." Like, it's so nice, and that makes, like, the recovery so much easier because you have that person that's, like, rooting you on, and so I love to see that, and that's my favorite. Or the one that's, "You go first, and if it's not too scary, I'll go." Like, that's great, but there are people that I've had that were like, "Don't call anybody. I didn't tell anybody I'm getting this done." And you're like, "You're leaving with a giant thing around your head, and somebody's gonna figure this out."
Somebody's going to notice.
Oh, okay. And you respect whatever they ask you. It's like, okay, someone's gonna
Has any
know.
of your family come to you wanting to do procedures?
They tease about it, but I've told them I will happily give you to one of the other doctors here because that's too close. That's too close for me. That's too much stress. I don't need that stress in my life. And like I will be the doting family member in the lobby, and the doctor hat comes off and the family member hat comes on. But like, nope,
Yeah, I would imagine that could be hard.
that's too much stress for me. I can't.
Tell me a little bit about your dad and your relationship with him. How's that played into your life?
He was always the grinding, building his empire, building his business whenever I was little. He's a farmer and farmer and a rancher. And so he's grown from, they were like in college, he teased me, he was like washing dishes, getting himself through college to now he has like ranches in East Texas and West Texas and very good businessman. So he's my guy that I call to whenever I say, "What about this? What do you think about that? What about this idea? How would you structure this deal or finance this or that?" And so he's very good about thinking about things and both sides of it and how pros and cons. And he's from West Texas and he talks slow and he may think about it for a little while, but he'll get back with you. So I appreciate that I'm probably more like him now than I realized when I was younger, because I always felt like I was more like my mom because I look more like my mom. But
I
so
just think about the fact that I'm like, even though you don't have his nose, you're
know.
still in his image.
Yes. Even without the nose. Yeah.
That is really helpful in developing your own business to have somebody that you can bounce those ideas off of. How often do you
That's right.
call him?
Monthly, probably. And he would always ask me, "When are you going to move back home?" And then whenever I built this out, he was like, "Oh, okay, you're not coming home." And I was like, "No."
But he is in Texas.
He's in Texas. Yeah. It's like an 8-hour drive between here and there. But, they make it.
It's a big state. What does
Yeah.
he think about you doing this line of work?
It seems like he gets it more now. Like I said, after I've built this out and have other people here, he was like, "Okay, I get that." He may not totally get like why someone would want to do plastic surgery, but he gets like the business part of it. It's okay. I get if you have your med spa and then there's people that work there, and so you can have that going on if you're in surgery or away or whatever. Sees like that aspect of it.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
nice. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you would like me to talk about? That's all really interesting. I guess my final question would be, what are some of the misconceptions around plastic surgery? Yeah.
So the immediate thought whenever I tell someone I'm a plastic surgeon, they immediately think like superficial, vein, fluff kind of surgeries, and they don't realize like how life-changing these things can be. How and I feel like it's not knowing and not understanding like how much it affects your confidence and how important that confidence is. That you see that even as simple as like the young girl with her dad's nose, and you fix it and she's just glowing and bubbly, and before was very quiet, and then she comes in and she's talking to everybody, and then comes in with all this makeup and all this stuff, and people say, "Oh, the before and after there's makeup," and I'm like, because they feel really good about themselves. That you can see the change in that person, and the person that maybe not crazy about aging. And then
Yeah, that's the doozy.
yeah, and you're like, this was overnight. This was not there yesterday. And you're able to help them with it. And they're like, oh, I feel good. I feel like myself. I look in the mirror and I see myself because I don't know who that person was.
What have I become?
Yeah. But this is who I am. And being able to help them with that, to feel confident, and that it spills over to everything. You're more confident. You're better. You're a better partner. You're a better friend. You're a better at work because you're just operating at a higher level.
So true. Like how much your face and how you present yourself to the world affects every area of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether you realize it or not, it's the way that you're interacting with every single person, and is that in a more self-conscious way where you're more thinking about yourself? Are you able to be more open with them and not have those things like that little voice in the back of your head of just be more present and not worried about this or that?
That is crazy. Just one more thing that you and I talked about was if you are to have plastic surgery, it might be something that you should tell people when dating.
Yeah. And they get a surprise. Oh, that's my nose. Yeah, sorry about that.
You have a kid and you're like, I didn't tell you. I changed about 5 or 6 things about myself before we got together.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully they love you either way.
Yeah,
but
at that point, they love you. So it's fine. You got to show some pictures when you were a kid or something.
That is funny about stars, though. Like some stars look so different.
They look
after they hit fame.
Yeah. Things get changed. And
have you had any celebrity clients? I know you can't say, but
not that I would admit to.
Okay. That could be cool.
And stressful.
The bar could be higher.
Yeah. It's funny whenever I always say when I started, but it's different now compared to then because whenever I first started, you would have people that were in front of the camera that was their job and the little nitpicky things. And you're always concerned that the little nitpicky things. And as the cameras got better, the nitpicky things got more and more detailed because I would have people that were on camera and then say, my director has a line, said I have a line I have to do something about or whatever. When the cameras weren't as good, maybe you didn't see that line. And so you were worried about that with this group of people. But now it's everybody because we all carry our phone around and we take all these videos and all these pictures. And so it's not just, oh, I'm worried about how this looks on camera for these people. It's everybody because everybody's see in this picture and in this video and whenever I move my mouth this way because we see ourselves in ways we just didn't before. Yeah, but maybe it's
more detail-oriented work.
Yes, very detailed and talking about how things are statically and dynamically and what you can do and what you can fix and what's not really a good idea to go chasing after because you get chased too many details and that's when you go down the road of the weird,
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I am excited to hear what my dad has to say about this because we have never talked about plastic surgery. And is there anything that you would like to ask him? Maybe his generational take on all of this?
Yeah, I'd be curious what he thinks about about getting plastic surgery and how it's is or is not accepted and thoughts on how that maybe affects the rest of life. And I would be interested what he would say.
I'm even interested in culturally.
Yes, there's definite.
Aren't there some cultures that probably have a problem with it? This is what God gave you.
And like I was saying, it always, in my experience, it's always gone back to, are you trying to change yourself? And why are you trying to change yourself? And are you trying not to be this or that or whatever it is? And it can be a challenge if there's, like I said, I'm always on the conservative side of, I want you to look like you. But even in that context of you look like you, but it's refined, you're still changing an aspect that can be culturally associated. And how is that interpreted by you, first of all, because that's what's most important, is have you really thought about that on a deep level before you do something? And then how is that reflected in your relationships with your family and the people around you? Because there's different, every family is different, every culture is different as far as, is that okay or is that not something that's as accepted. And that's tough if you're in that situation because you're defending yourself and you don't have that cheerleader, like we were talking about, like with the couple. You need a cheerleader or two that's on your side. That's, you look amazing. This is so great.
I believe in you.
I believe in you. This is going to be amazing. Don't worry about those bruises. They're temporary. Because if you have that person that's, I don't know why you did this. You spent all that money.
You look plastic.
You look plastic. I don't see any difference, even when there is a big difference. Like, that's
You're like,
hard.
I don't want to hear that for what I'm paying.
You spent all the money and I don't see any difference. Even when you're like, show them, like, this is the before and after. It's dramatic. That's dramatic. If that's what's in their ear all day, it's hard. It's difficult for the patient, and that's difficult for us because I can't win that. You know what I mean? Even if it's objectively different, it's a really tough place to be. So I do like as much as I can to get into these deeper conversations with people before I have surgery. What does your family think? And who's going to be there with you? And what did they say? And just to have an idea of where we're at before we make that decision. Because it's a big decision.
From the first time that somebody usually meets with you until surgery, is there an average decision-making time?
It's all over the place. Like, I'll have people that are like...
Some people know.
They've been thinking about this for a long time. They've done all the internet research. They are ready to go. They're like, I want this as soon as possible. And they're within a month. And then there's people that think about it for a year or more sometimes. And then they'll come back and they're like, okay, I'm ready. No, I wasn't really ready.
Like, how do you even research that? How do you compare rhinoplasty practices? And are the procedures different from place to place?
It's like sculpture. So everybody does it a little bit different. There's definite like techniques, and we all have similar techniques, but there's so many different ways to do it and different like aesthetics that it's good to go on their website and look at all their before and afters, go on their social media, because that's where a lot of people will see before and afters now and see what is their aesthetic, for lack of a better word. On what do you like the way that looks? Do you like the way this one's looks or that one's looks? Because there's differences. Instead, a lot of people come to me because I try to have a very natural aesthetic that they'll see her nose pretty much looks the same, but the bump is gone because she didn't like the nose or didn't like the bump on her nose. Or this one does look different, but it still looks like her. And then other people are more dramatic. Yeah, you're like, let me see your before and afters and then we'll talk. Yeah. No, wow. And I think it's good to look at a bunch of before and afters, and the volume of before and afters gives you an idea of the volume of clients they've had too. That's interesting. Also, is there like extra certifications in this area that would differentiate one doctor from another? There's a bunch of different things that you would have to do a bunch of research to figure out. So there, you can be a facial plastic surgeon. That's like me. I did ENT and then facial plastics fellowship. You can be a plastic surgeon. So they either do general surgery as its own residency and then a plastics residency, or it's a combined one. Or you can be a cosmetic surgeon, which you can be any kind of doctor and then do a 1-year fellowship. And all of these people are doing these surgeries. And there's a huge difference between doing 2 full residencies or all head and neck ENT and then facial plastics. Like there's 1 year of surgery. So there's a difference in our training. And then we always go on and do like more training in this and that. But if I was out there looking, I would see if someone's a board certified plastic surgeon or a board certified facial plastic surgeon. Those are the ones that I would go with and then see, because knowing most of us, it's a small percentage of people that actually let us use their pictures. But that at least gives you an idea of what do they do the most of. If there's a ton of pictures of rhinoplasty, they probably do quite a bit of that. If there's 3, they probably do a bunch of something else. And we all have our
good
things.
To know, yeah. And also, can anyone get like that Photoshop diagram of here's what you could look like? Can anyone do that online now?
There's so many apps. There's a million different apps you can use, and you can do it. Like we have a program, but it's
proprietary
that we purchase. Yeah, but it's basically you can get like Facetune and play with it yourself and see, oh, I like the way that looks.
Ah, this is me with a Michael Jackson nose. Yeah.
Michael Jackson, no. This one, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool though, but that's even fun to do.
Yeah, and if you're like tossing an idea around, but maybe not to the level where you want to go like to a consult yet, you could play with it and see, oh, do I like that or not? Or is it even my nose that bothers me? Is it something else?
I love that. Okay, I might tiptoe in for one of these med spa treatments. Please let people know how they can find your podcast and promote away.
Oh, thank you. So you can find me at my website, www.drangela.sturm.com, or the podcast is Beauty Unveiled on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You've heard from my mom. Now, let's switch it over to Grandpa.
The big issue with plastic surgery is that do you do it for yourself to look and feel better? Or is it something that you do to try to please someone else or the TV camera if you're, one of these actor or actresses that you have to look a certain part to be on stage or in the limelight? Is it being done for the wrong reasons, or is it really being done to give yourself a little further? It's a way of giving yourself some encouragement or making yourself feel better. It's a very interesting question. I don't think we've had anyone on the show to talk about actually changing your look. We know people that have done it. Some people have had surgeries to reduce their weight to look better or feel better where they can't lose it on their own. Some people feel like to be part of the in-group. They've done piercings or this tattoo thing that it's beyond my understanding, to be honest. I think someone distorting their body to a large degree is possibly going against the natural beauty of what God gave you in the first place. When I look in the mirror and see all that gray hair, I dye my hair to make myself feel better. It's a very interesting subject to try to fix yourself where you feel better. Is that really okay? Would be the bottom line question. Angela seems to be a very sensitive person and only really wants to help people feel better. I don't think she promotes someone to do this to please someone else or to have a stigma that if you don't do it, you won't get the right outcomes, whether it's with your job or being on the stage. I think she's taking the right approach of really trying to help someone feel better about doing it. And if they don't really want to do it, it's not high pressure. She's happy not to do it. At least that's my take. My opinion is that if someone has got a bump on her nose, your mom had a little piece of cancer removed off of her nose. She didn't have the plastic surgery. So she now has a little tiny bump there, but she had a perfect nose beforehand. She obviously had some surgeries due to the cancer. They weren't perfect, but she didn't feel like she had to necessarily do more than what she did. She was satisfied. I was satisfied. I encourage her that she looks fine. That's psychology. If you have somebody criticizing you all the time about your look, or that your boobs aren't big enough, or this is crooked, or that's not right, or you got screwed up teeth, I think that discourages someone's ego, makes them feel bad. They feel like it's necessary to try to fix themselves so that they not only feel better, but because they want to please someone else or some audience. That's back to the beginning of the conversation. Why do you really do things? The bottom line should be that you shouldn't let the peanut gallery determine what you do. You've got to feel good about doing it yourself. If it's not really making you feel better either way, because there's risks to everything that we do. We've seen certain actors get the plastic surgery Not only do they not look like themselves, they look something totally different, but sometimes it's gone really bad. They look worse after they've done it. But they do it. They take a shot at it because a lot of people are trying to capture their youth, especially when they get older. Nobody wants to get older and have all those wrinkles and issues with your skin. I want to look as good as long as I can, and I'll use every means so that when I look in the mirror, I'm happy with myself. I think everybody at a certain point has to realize that how you look on the outside is not as important of how you feel and how you behave on the inside.
Thanks for listening. Now I think I'm going to go call my dad.
I'll say goodbye and see you the next time.
Thanks for listening to the Better Call Daddy Show. Join us weekly for new episodes and more daddy wisdom.
Better Call Daddy is good advice always.
And love you, Grandpa, and love you, Mommy.
That's so cute. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. You can also find special episodes on my YouTube channel, and you can listen on Apple Podcasts,
On Good Pods.
Spotify, Amazon Music, Alexa, or your preferred podcatcher. That's a wrap for now.